speaking of amazing things, we're now joined in studio by Gerry Comninos, who's the CEO of Hydra Light, which is an amazing local invention. And I'm not going to try and explain too much about what's going on, but I'm going to introduce him. And if you're on the Twitters, we will do a live stream on Twitter. So we're live now, so you'll see how underdressed we are. But we're also going to chat about Hydra Light. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, I mean, what's the sort of origin story for yourself and coming up with this invention? Like, what was that kind of like Einstein moment where you just went, I need to do something here?
Well, I can't take any credit for the invention and for Hydra Light itself or HydraCell itself. I've only been in the business for about 6 or 7 months. Kind of a long story, but I was running a software development business, global business out of Tullamarine, family owned. Mm-hmm. That family happened to invest into Hydra Light, and over time suggested that I come across and help commercialise the product and take the operations global and work work with the rest of the team to kind of commercialise it and get it out there. So. It's been an interesting journey for the last 6 or 7 months, but HydraCell or Hydra Light itself has been around for 4 or 5 years, was initially developed by 3 or 4 Australian guys, happened to be in the US at that particular point in time, developed the technology around a water-activated fuel cell, which is either completely biodegradable or completely recyclable, depending on how it's set up, and is over time, we see it as a direct competitor or a direct alternative to lithium-ion batteries, and kind of the toxic nature of those and the toxic nature of kerosene and candles and oil-based lanterns and lighting products that are used around the world.
So, I mean, it's great on World Environment Day to be thinking about some technology that reduces all of that battery waste. But I mean, finding a power source would be a huge problem all around the world. Obviously, in the West, batteries are sort of easy to get. But what are some of the stats on sort of the problem that this solves? Like, what's the market?
This solves problems on numerous levels, I guess. So if we look at it and without trying to pigeonhole the world, but if we look at it from a first world perspective, there would be 3 billion lithium-ion batteries that go into landfill in the US alone. 14,000 tons that go into landfill in Australia every year. Those are obviously completely toxic and never biodegrade. And if we look at it from a third world perspective, a developing world perspective, there'd be 1.3 billion people around the world that don't have a secure source of electricity. So they're either reliant on, as I said, oil lanterns, candles, batteries, or kerosene. And kerosene would be sitting in a small room, running a kerosene lantern is particularly poisonous to the people exposed to it. So there are significant environmental benefits, but just as importantly, or potentially more importantly, significant health benefits for people that could pick up this energy source.
Let's give it a go. We're going to try and do a bit of a demo here. We'll do our best to describe what's happening at home. So what's in your right hand there? Right.
So this is a HydraCell. This is the fuel cell. This is it's effectively a dormant cell. It will remain dormant until I put it into water to activate the process. So if I leave it here for 25 years and I come back in 25 years' time and I dip it into water, it'll still have 100% of the power that it has today. Whereas if I had a lithium-ion battery and I left it there, in 2 years' time it would be pretty close to dead.
So it's like a small grey plastic cheese grater, cylindrical, or like a big fat bicycle handle.
It's a little bit like two D-cell batteries put together. So if I put it, so we've developed a whole range of lighting products. So that, basically a series of lanterns, a series of torches. So I've got one here, and I've got a military grade, security grade one over here, which is an aluminium one.
That looks pretty amazing.
And we've also got a range of power products, which will allow people to charge mobile phones, and laptops and things like that over time. So we've developed the products to get the technology out there, but in the long term we want to become a manufacturer of Hydra cells to the OEM industry. So the application of this is endless as you kind of work through what it can do. but I'll demonstrate that now. So you just put it in just like a normal battery into a torch, and if
so we just shoved it in the back end there, and we've just screwed it on.
So hopefully, if I do that, there'll be no power.
So we've got a torch that's not working.
Yep. So if I take it out, I dip it into water.
So what's happening now when you dip it in the water?
Effectively, it's just starting it's not it's a chemical reaction. There are no chemicals in there, but starting the reaction between the magnesium anode and a salt-infused a cathode, which is a water-absorbent material around it. And this will continue to go as long as there's moisture in the HydraCell. So there we go. I turn it on. We have
magic.
power.
We've got power.
It's the same torch, everyone.
It's always a very nervous moment when I do that. But we've got contract manufacturers in China. We've got a down pat manufacturing process. So we now produce world-class HydraCells, which produce instantaneous power as soon as you put them into water. And the next iteration of the HydraCell will actually have a water capsule within the HydraCell, so you don't have to go and find water. As you turn the cap on the back of the torch or whatever application you're using, it'll puncture the water and you're away. So this HydraCell would give about, you can turn the torch on and off obviously, but as long as you keep it moist, about 300 hours of power. And it's equivalent of about 32 AA batteries. So normal battery lasts you 8 hours in a torch and is dead. So whilst it's got significant environmental benefits, it's also significantly more powerful than from a longevity perspective than a traditional battery.
Do you have any constraints around how clean the water needs to be for it to not corrode the mechanism?
No, we've sorted all that out. So you can use any source of water that you wish.
Yeah, great.
So it can be seawater, tap water, rainwater, river water. It doesn't matter what. Yep.
Oh, I actually thought it had to be salt water, but that's great. It could be fresh water.
No, we've got a salt-infused membrane in there, so the salt's already in there. Yep.
Yeah, that glass of water we were testing with, that's just from the tap out there.
I thought you got the saxo out and you
No.
were kind of like,
No, I wasn't quite that fast. We only had that one song to set up the demo.
It's bizarre to think that this kind of like technology hasn't been around before. Was there is it hard to kind of like battery manufacturers have kind of like markets locked in, and do you foresee it to be hard to get it out there into markets?
The technology has been around for hundreds of years. No one's commercialized it yet, and no one's patented it. So we have patented the fuel cell that we've developed all around, not necessarily around the reaction that happens, because as I said, that's been around for hundreds of years, but it's around the way we've configured the HydraCell and the amount of power we can put out and the longevity that we can deliver. So we've got that patented around the world, down pat. In terms of the challenges that we face, over the last 6 to 7 months, we spent a significant amount of time making sure that our manufacturing is as robust as we can, and we've fully characterized these HydraCells, so we know that HydraCell 1, HydraCell 1000, HydraCell million will be consistent in terms of their output over time, and we know our manufacturing process is secure. So our real challenge now is getting this out to the market and getting market acceptance. It's generally a new technology and a new brand, so the real challenge is around getting the brand out there and getting consumers to pick it up.
I'm curious because, seeing this work here in the studio, it's kind of magical and seems kind of very obvious and intuitive, but do you see that there's a cognitive dissonance because people think, electronics and water and, ooh, that's bad, you shouldn't put them together? Is there a bit of a, mental hurdle there for people to jump over?
Not that we've encountered in any way, shape or form. All the feedback we've got has been very positive in terms of the acceptance. Once you understand the technology and where you can take this product, the reality is our lighting products are never going to be torches which could spot a fox 200 meters away. We just can't generate enough power out of a HydraCell to do that. But from an emergency perspective, where people want cheap power, where they don't have electricity, or they're in an emergency situation, and all they need is water, and over time the water will be in the HydraCell to get them out of a situation where they're in an emergency, it's absolutely ideal. to take your point a little bit further, there's actually a situation where, say, for in the marine industry, where a battery and salt water are the complete antithesis of each other. So, in that perspective, we're actually way ahead of what our competition can do, or what the perception is around the market.
Yeah, I just suddenly had a vision of like a blanket of these at the bottom of a boat, just kind of powering the boat forwards. Like the opposite of Elon Musk's like new solar cells, but on the bottom of your boat, just kind of like constantly wet, constantly driving.
As the technology stands at the moment, unlikely, just because of the amount of magnesium and material you need to go in there, and these are not rechargeable either. So once you've used the HydraCell, it's done. So it's not like you can take your boat to the side and recharge the power source. Yeah, so it's unlikely to happen.
That was a little of an ambitious idea. Yeah, fair.
If people would like to pick one of these up, or are interested in that, I do like that kind of like Black Ops kind of version that you've got over there. That's really nice. Where can people buy these, find out about these, check them out for themselves?
Well, we can find it on hydracellpower.com, which is our global website. And we have an Australian website, hydracell.net, I think it is.
Yeah. And you can go pick them up.
Yep.
It's a great piece of kit. Really excited for you guys, and glad it's kind of happening here in Melbourne.
Solving a really great problem. Like, definitely, I've heard about these problems of like no power, no electricity, and people sort of suffering some really bad health consequences. So very exciting to see some like innovative Aussie startups doing great stuff to solve big problems.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting road we're on, and as you say, it's exciting that we can solve a lot of problems around the world, I think, with rolling this out.
Thanks for coming in, Gerry.
Thank you.
We'll keep an eye on it, and if you do anything else cool that we can demo on the radio, make sure you can bring it in for us.
Great, will do. Thank you very much.
It is 7:49. You're listening to Bite Into It on Triple R.